wanted to just reply to it ASAP. Bottom right-hand side of the map, as we jump into our first semi-final of the day, is our red Zerg player, my friends. This is Team Liquid's Snute. And to the top left-hand side, our purple Zerg player is RiSky from Team Revolution. So we set up into ZvZ, and we look to see what sort of direction our players will be taking us in over the course of this Zerg-based matchup. Of course, first player here, the winner of this series, will be actually confirmed as the first player qualified for this tournament. As we get this set up and ready to roll. So Overlords coming by each other right here. We're just going to be seeing the Spawner Pool on the way up as well. Extractor still coming down also. We're just going to be seeing well, this game getting going with a fairly standard opening. At the moment it looks as though both players are pretty much mirrored with what they're doing with the other. Nothing too crazy. Just as we get into this, quick shout out to my man MBK1011. How's it going with the 14-month resub on that Twitch Prime? Thank you so much for the 14 months of love. Appreciate it. Can we get some Wardy hearts in the chat for MBK1011? Thank you very much. It's back on to 225 subscribers. The grind back to 300 is slow. Not gonna lie, it's really crazy. We had one day out of the last 7. I think we had one stream out of the last 7 streams that had more than 1 sub. Isn't that crazy? That's like super low, and that's again not an issue. I just think it's kind of crazy. Maybe June is just not the month for subscribing. Anyways, we're into the ZvZ, and it means we should talk about it because RiSky is already bypassing his link speed, and he isn't doing anything else with the gas just yet. No evolution chamber to start up a carapace upgrade or anything along those lines. As we do see a couple of Zerglings going to arrive and start to nibble their way through this set of rocks here, which obviously can then be knocked down and to block off this area. So those Lings getting to work at the moment, and we do see RiSky with an Evo Chamber now at the front, so he does get this in the end, and I guess he did start Ling speed before the Carapace here. If he wants Carapace, and he will get Carapace. How interesting. It kind of feels like it's just a bit weird, like the Ling speed's late, the Carapace didn't come up properly. Not quite the usual kind of expectation when you kind of skip the Ling speed initially. As we'll see the Ling speed for Snute now. And the Rotron will come down as well from RiSky, so setting up in towards this. And Rotron also on the way from Snute. As we are going to be having the Queen about to pop up here from Snute as well in the main base. So Queen popping out. Meanwhile, we do see the third hatchery is again ready to go as well. Lots of Fear Dragon coming in for the 29-month resub. Rudy for Snooty, he says, on that tier 2 as well. Thank you so much, Ravi. How you doing today? Thank you so much for the 29 months. Do you see those Lingers nibbling away at the rock tower? And knock that down and keep a little bit safe from kind of potential aggressive attacks here. As again, I wonder if RiSky's just trying to sell the idea of roaches and a roach play, you know, roach-based macro play, when in reality, he's actually heading towards like a big kind of Ling attack and looking to flood in with Lings when his opponent maybe just isn't expecting it at all. I think it's a real possibility here as we see those Lings are starting to gather together. 16 more currently on the way out in the production tab. There it is, a lot of those Lings from Snute running around the right-hand side. And this hatchery on the gold base is going to start being nibbled, so RiSky trying to expand forwards for his third base here. Actually gets his Queen caught by those Zerglings as well. RiSky is once again pushing those Lings away. Still holding the worker lead, 40 to 32. It's Snute that's maybe going to get aggressive because he's making a lot of roaches. As we are going to be seeing a Hydralisk Den on the way down from RiSky, so RiSky is able to keep that gold base alive for the moment here on Dreamcatcher. As we see these roaches of Snute pushing in, I think immediately here RiSky's going to be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, I don't think you can hold the gold base in this scenario. Unless he goes for some sort of counterattack and pulls those roaches back. Is that the play? Because if he does go for that, then he doesn't have anything himself to really kind of defend with. He owns enough some Lings right now. He's going to throw out a couple of these roaches already. We're now going to be seeing just one going down. Has to be careful with what else he does here. Trying to defend purely with Zerglings at the moment as Snute just going to commit to this roach-based attack at the moment, and he's going to have a Baneling Nest as well in a moment or two. I think RiSky if this Hydra Den is, yeah, I was going to say maybe go straight into Lurkers and just play something really funky that we don't usually see. Snute's backing away though, because he looks at this and he's like, okay, well I guess, you know, you're kind of just on the 2 bases, then I guess I don't need to push further forwards. Snute's still only on 31 drones of his own though, and it means that he doesn't, you know, really still have his own great economy. RiSky also starts with the +1 missile attack. The biggest issue is how long it takes that lurker den to come into play. I mean, with lurker den, 86-second build time, then 20 seconds to morph the hydralisks into lurkers as well. It's a massive amount of time to really, you know, to make this work, basically. It takes a long time to make this happen and to get those lurkers up and onto the map. As we see, these lings are going to come along over to the right-hand side here. Going to run in towards this base. I mean, more lings to the left-hand side being blocked away by the roaches. RiSky's play, though, while he isn't committing in, it is allowing him to, you know, buy time. It stops Snute from attacking, which I'm almost certain Snute kind of just wanted to do for a little while at the moment. More lings coming in from Snute and continue to chase RiSky away for the moment. And for the time being, RiSky is going to be still waiting for that lurker den as Snute's starting to come forwards once again. It's a Bubble SE2 the chat for the Twitch Prime sub. How you doing? Thank you so much for subscribing. A little bit more love after this game, as right now a couple of Balins do start to go off, and again RiSky is off and away, going to try and run by perhaps. No, just trying to pull units off to the side. His third base is on the left, which means if Snute comes from the right, it does give RiSky a chance to defend this. I don't think Snute has any idea about these lurkers. If Snute doesn't know about the lurkers and the roaches run into burrowed lurkers on hold position and then they attack, oh, those roaches could be in some real trouble. Because Snute, by the way, no lair. He does not have detection available. He has no way to see these lurkers. He has zero idea at all. Oh, is this why he sees the lurkers for the first time? I don't think so. I think he was just out of range. Okay, he sees some attacks going down now, though. I think Snute's got to realize suddenly that RiSky's got lurkers and that he's in a bit of trouble. He can't do anything aggressively anymore. Those lurkers are going to get rid of the Zerglings, and at the same time, RiSky trying to counter-attack again. Doesn't find much. Snute backs away. Snute backs away. And we are going to be seeing these Zerglings still moving around. A couple more connections going down. Third hatch still set up here. Lurkers repositioning themselves at the moment. 6 more Hydralisks on the way through. I mean, the thing is, now he's got lurkers. What does Snute do? He backs away. He's got an upgrade deficit. He's got a third hatch, which is, in fairness, in an advantage. RiSky just commits onto a few drones here in this third base, and I mean, both of them have a third base. So I was going to say Snute has a few workers working on his. RiSky still has yet to make use of his own. Lurkers burrow here in those lings. They get a couple of Hydra kills before the lurkers burrowed. So that's still quite nice. If RiSky starts pushing now, can he get the lurkers, you know, far enough forwards to make this work out? 4 more lurkers on the way up as Zerglings from Snute coming up towards the top side of the map here, and I'm not sure if I'm not sure how this is going to go. Oh, a couple of lurkers in some trouble. Insert name here says exact same strategy every game in ZvZ, dude. I don't know how you could possibly say that this game is the exact same strategy as every ZvZ. RiSky is literally playing Ling Lurker at the moment. I don't think I've ever in my life seen Ling Lurker. This is really crazy. No, you know, no Bane and Nest. He built the Roach Roar and never used it until now. He finally starts Roach Speed. Snute can start Roach Speed as well. The thing is, though, I mean, +2 missiles is on the way from RiSky also. Snute just started up his +1, so RiSky still has a huge upgrade lead right now. More lings are along the top right-hand side of the map. The Roaches and Ravagers of Snute are probably thinking about where they can go without running into lurkers. The answer is not really anywhere. Snute is prepared to deal with these Zerglings once again, and RiSky is already having to back away. He can actually take this fight for a moment while it's just the Zerglings because he does have Carapace in advantage, so he's actually going to be just fine right there. RiSky is taking the opportunity to get forwards with his lurkers. He never in the end was able to defend this gold base, which I don't think is too surprising. The lurkers going to burrow themselves right now, and well, a couple corrosive files initially. RiSky will relocate, and well, more lurkers just showing up, and they're going to start fighting this here. Is this going to be enough from RiSky as he gets some good shots off towards the end? Army supplies are pretty even right now as RiSky burrows again those lurkers. It's funny, they just feel so slow. You're so used to seeing lurkers nowadays with the adaptive talents. Man, RiSky's army supply is absolutely exploding at the moment. Burrows again, and he is just slowly burrowing his way towards this third base, and well, Snute eventually has to find a way to fight this or something. Those lurkers in the back didn't fire any shots there. It was a bit strange. Pushes forwards once more. There's still a few lurkers in the back. What are they doing? They just don't hold position, waiting. Yes, they are. And now Snute's in a little bit of trouble. Roach is reinforced as well. Snute does not have an answer to the lurkers, and RiSky takes game number 1 of this series. Wow. Bottom right-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player from Team Liquid now down a map. It is Team Liquid Snute. I mean, the issue is he just didn't have answers to the lurkers, right? What was he going to do? And eventually, as the roaches come out for RiSky, he has an upgrade lead as well. pretty crazy stuff. As to the top left-hand side, our purple Zerg player is from Team Revolution, up 1-0. RiSky. Crazy lurker play, says Elsker in the chat. Yeah, that really was something. Snute down it now. Let's channel some energy for Snute, guys. If you're a fan of Snute right here, you kind of maybe need it. Do you see some drones just getting in positions? The hatchery first coming down here once again. Extractor coming down here too. So getting this set up, getting this rolling. Obviously just a little bit of a slow start. Catalyst is a bit of a different map. I wouldn't imagine that RiSky could do the same strategy here on Catalyst because it's one of those maps which it's a little bit, you know, it's just a bit smaller. There isn't as much room to run by the lings and to deny Snute from attacking for a long time. I mean, it's a weird game from Snute as well. From his point of view, you know, RiSky had to really buy a lot of time, and I think Snute had a bit of a bad read. He didn't see the third hatchery, for example, and so on. Very, very strange stuff. Very strange stuff. Yeah, the lurkers at the end there, when they weren't firing, they were on hold position. I was just surprised they were on hold position. Like, I was really surprised that this was on hold position because it just felt as though he was good to kind of just get them going. But I guess it worked out in the end. Snute was missing detection, so he wasn't sure where the lurkers were, and the hold position helped him to get even further damage dealt. Now, of course, works out pretty nicely in the end, so big positives in that regard, as we do have the Overlord here, just continue to full eye on down to the south, getting into position. A couple extra queens on the way up right now as well. Link speed starting up from Snute. We get this going. We're just waiting to see how RiSky's going to do this game. Again, I mean, it was kind of weird last game because in the end he went Carapace, but he didn't go Carapace super quickly. And he still kind of delayed his link speed for a while, so again, I am kind of intrigued as to what the plan might be in this current moment. Queen injects the hatchery on the natural expansion. A couple of queens going to be gathering up at the front at the moment, so these queens gather together. Again, link speed now starts from RiSky. Somewhat delayed. Does he throw down an Evo chamber, get ready for Carapace again, or well, he gets the Evo chamber? I would be surprised if RiSky did the same thing twice, because I sort of feel as though Snute's the sort of player that just looks at the game and says, okay, well, you did this. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to do against it this time around. We're drawing just to the side here as well now. That's currently on the way from Snute. Meanwhile, by the way, Namshar against Yishi in the other semi-final has started up, guys. So, second semi-final currently on the way. It's currently just pushing out a couple of games, so that's ongoing. We'll give you guys some updates from that as we get them. For the moment, though, Snute is on the way back up towards the top side of the map here. It seems these Zerglings are, well, they're looking to get going. Going to run on forwards here, and this Queen already going to be taking some damage. So, Queen taking some hits. Spine Crawler will not quite go down in time, so the Lings are going to get through here. And Snute's going to be able to start doing some damage. I mean, RiSky's got another Queen behind us. This Queen's actually staying alive a long time. RiSky saves this Queen. Banelings show up, though, and that makes things more complicated. The full health Queen gets towards the wall. RiSky defends against Snute in these early stages. And these Zerglings of RiSky are going to start moving across the map now. A couple of Queens still just sat in the natural, and we are going to be seeing more Zerglings of RiSky also on the way down to the south. Oh, has to be careful of that one Baneling, though. Just pull away in time. He starts to target with a Ling. Realizes the other Lings are going to defend the Baneling, so he pulls back again. Oh, he gets it in the end. The Baneling for just the one Zergling. Man, RiSky's getting into a good position here. He's on equal work account. Yes, he's behind a third hatchery, and that's always going to be the issue in this sort of scenario. But equal workers means the income is the same. Snute isn't that kind of like 10 workers above that you would usually like to be in this scenario. Because if you're 10 workers ahead right here as Snute, well, by the time RiSky attacks with +1, etc., then you can generally be in a decent position to sort of, you know, at least have enough reinforcements to defend, and, you know, etc., etc. I'm a little bit confused as well, though. RiSky must need a third hatch at some point, right? Because he is currently, well, he finishes at +1 here. The third hatch has to cancel for the moment because he doesn't have the Lings, but he's getting roaches with +1. Should be able to deflate. Snute's really committed to this attack across the map. Really not using the third hatch for much other than production at the moment. So again, aggressive play out of Snute. As we'll see another couple of Banelings finishing up now. 6 more Roaches on the way out. Some Zerglings going to slink their way through this little bit of a wall off. Hatchery here from RiSky will start up as well. I'm going to be seeing these Roaches still just also gathering together. Up the left-hand side, Snute running in, going to try and have a little bit of a skirmish. We see more Zerglings going around the south and in towards the natural expansion. I mean, he's attempted a run by, but he just sees loads of Roaches. Man, Snute's getting aggressive, but he's been aggressive into +1 missiles. He's been aggressive soon into Roach speed as well. He's up 20 army supply, but I just feel as though it's difficult to see Snute making this work, I suppose. Again, the +1 on the Roaches means the supply that's in Zerglings, which is a hell of a lot, honestly, for Snute. 41 Lings. That's somewhat, you know, that's really not powerful, because those 60 Lings now, they get 1 shot by, or 2 shot by the Roaches rather than 3 shot. I love this spread of RiSky already, as he doesn't seem to think the same. He wants to back away from this. The Lings do get a good surround off to the right-hand side. RiSky still has more Roaches on the way through here. A lot of the Ling reinforcements starting to show up. A couple of Ravager tiles do land. I think in this sort of scenario, you really need to avoid every corrosive fire possible. Extra Lings coming through. The Lings definitely helping to keep the Roaches and Ravagers of Snute alive, helping them to get the most out of this. RiSky might lose his Roach Roaring if he isn't careful, and that would be disastrous here. This is a very close situation. More Roaches on the way up, 9 of them. RiSky's already rebuilt his Roach Roaring, so that's on the way through here. Remember, he still has a +1 missile attack upgrade lead. He now has the 3rd hatchery still alive, but can he come forwards and keep that hatch alive? Because Lings might make that difficult. Feeling awkward because he wants to be choked up against the Zerglings, but he also doesn't want to be choked up against the Roaches and the Ravagers of his opponent. It looks as though eventually here RiSky will turn this away, and he will kill those Ravagers as well, and obviously that's some big damage done in the end. Snute loses his army, and now RiSky has Roach speed. Now RiSky has the +1 attack still, remember. He isn't making Roaches right now because his Roach Roaring is rebuilding in the back of the natural. He built that ASAP when he realized he was going to lose the one at the front. And here we go, RiSky, in a much more straight-up game compared to that weird style we saw in game number 1. He's looking for something. His 3rd hatch might be in some trouble, though. Lings running by. RiSky's reinforcements are not popping out just yet. He's going to get a couple of Roaches here in a moment, and we'll see if that's going to be enough for him. He is pulling some more Roaches back. Can he save this base, or does he not want to? He might just go across the map. I mean, I say he might go across the map, but he's already heading home. With some Roaches, RiSky's a little bit confused, I think, as to what exactly he wants to do right now. He did start +2, so even when +1 finishes the Snute, +2 of RiSky will be just about finishing up, so RiSky's going to forever maintain a +1 advantage in this game. I think the issue for RiSky is that he's about to all in, and if Snute can hold this attack, well, of course, that's where the issue will arise. How do you make this work if you're not going to be able to survive? Well, I mean, does RiSky need to attack, though? I mean, yes, he may feel like he does, but with no lair, no +2 potential for Snute, maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe he can get away without it. Leaves a few Roaches behind, so it's not completely all in. He wants to defend this 3rd base from Ling run-bys. He's just going to try and see if he can get something done with his Roaches on the other side of the map at the same time. RiSky coming out of a slight supply block. He has now about 10 workers down, mostly because it doesn't make sense for him to drone up until this hatchery is ready to mine from, because he doesn't actually have full saturation available in his main base any longer. So he does want to kind of keep that in mind here. Some Lings still just keeping themselves present on the map and maybe keeping RiSky thinking about what exactly he wants to do at the moment. +2 missile attack upgrade coming through at the moment. 75% the way done. Some Lings of Snute found here by RiSky's presence on the map with these Roaches. How far are we from upgrades? 30 seconds to +2 for RiSky, 40 seconds to +1 from Snute. If RiSky committed as soon as +2 finishes, I mean, he's still down in terms of unit number, and that can still have an impact. You know, upgrades are amazing, but sometimes the number of units obviously do have, you know, a lot to say as well. So this sort of stage where RiSky maybe now wants to think about adding on those extra drones so to saturate this 3rd base. RiSky's +2, 10 seconds away, as you can see on the right side of your screen. That upgrade counting down. Snute goes to the right-hand side and knock down these rocks, stops the access points from RiSky. That's RiSky coming over. RiSky's army supply is also just worse, I think, because he... Okay, it's only a couple of Ravagers difference, so it's not actually a massive deal. Drones actually going to have to be pulling the fight here. RiSky's already behind the workers, so losing more drones definitely doesn't help him here. And I think Snute's getting to that point where he's just got so much economy that it's really going to be very noticeable for Snute that he's just going to be able to straight up make more. But that said, RiSky, he might just go in very shortly. +1 Carapace is 30 seconds away. I mean, he still has the missile upgrade lead, right? So he can still win a fight based on upgrades. If he commits now, he still has that advantage going in. So we are just going to be seeing Roaches and Ravagers Going to continue just setting up in the center. Moving forwards here, we're going to be seeing a couple of closer bars coming in from Snute. Able to push that away. This overload of Snute going to have to be somewhat cautious as well. Roaches do pick off those rocks. So the rocks getting picked off, and again, RiSky back over to the left-hand side. I mean, RiSky, his plan might just be to max out. Because if he maxes out, he'll have a large army supply too. The issue is he's got 80 seconds until he loses his upgrade lead on the missiles. And that's a massive upgrade lead he would be losing out on. That would really be very noticeable, I think, for him. You can see Snute, he's going to have the bank upgrade. In fact, here we go, while the fight starts up. Corrosive Bars initially from Snute is very good. You can see Snute move commands forwards quite a lot here. Does RiSky have the upgrades to make this work? Right now, RiSky's upgrades are carrying him, I think. The army supply is definitely looking to be in RiSky's favor. +2 missiles and +1 carapace. Okay, Snute's got 15 roaches in production, but production roaches don't really matter too much. RiSky dives into the Ravager line. The Ravagers are starting to drop. The roaches that remain are very low health for Snute. RiSky's starting to make this happen. If he can pick up reinforcements as they come out, this might just be game-ending here, as Snute has 10 roaches in production. Here comes some of them right now. RiSky might just have to back away for a moment or two. He's going to try and stick it out, though. He doesn't quite have the numbers. Corrosive Bars doesn't connect. RiSky has to back away. One hell of a fight, but now Snute is going to start negating the advantages RiSky had. The +2 missile attack is about to finish, and as that's about to finish, RiSky's still down 15 workers here. He starts to drone, but so does Snute, and that's the difference. Snute's had those workers for longer. RiSky, he just doesn't quite have a way to find enough units in position to make this work. He's still making a few more units here and there for himself. Remember, that +2 missile is the most important upgrade he can have now. The carapace upgrade is nice, but it's not as game-changing as the missile attack just because of the benefits it gives to those roaches and the way the numbers work. So Snute, he's really gotten rid of one of the big advantages that RiSky's had here, the upgrade lead on missiles. And now Snute's going to benefit from having that, those extra workers earlier. He doesn't have to build as many drones as RiSky does now to catch back up. He already has the 4th base finishing here. RiSky gets another Ravager finished up. He gets a shot off at the front. Looks as though it's just a bit of a disconnect or disengagement from both players now. Bottom left-hand side, Snute is just mining away with a few of these drones here already, so getting those going. A couple more Ravagers on the way in from Snute, and they are going to come across to the left-hand side as well. Corrosive Ball comes down, Roach is able to chase RiSky away. Just going to see this Ravager going to get picked off as well. You see RiSky's all the way off over to the left side now, continuing to run around here. He might be in a little bit of trouble because you can see that Snute's already setting up to kind of run in this direction. Cut RiSky off as he tries to head home. That could be problematic. RiSky might just be forced into taking the fight. He's backing away. His extra roaches are on their way down here. Snute goes into this with a huge army supply lead, though. And RiSky, I think, is unfortunately having to back away for the best, for the realistically the best choice he has. That means he takes some damage as he goes. Well, more roaches and Ravagers on the way up here. RiSky continues to set up at the moment. We'll be seeing this again set up as we're going to be seeing these rocks going down. RiSky still sits 10 workers behind, but you can see the difference now. The army supply in Snute's favor. The worker count still in Snute's favor, and Snute, because of the worker count, has the bank as well. And that bank will obviously go a long way too. So this fight looks good for RiSky because he takes the fight on these roaches on the left, which are very outnumbered. On the right-hand side, he's still going to struggle. The hatchery acts as a massive force field here, kind of blocking RiSky from getting into the concave he wants. So even though he's the defender, Snute actually has the better positioning to start this out. Although actually, Snute, I guess, just isn't rebuilding his roaches initially there. His supply did dip down. He hasn't gotten rid of that hatchery yet. It's the Ravagers in the backlines that are so frustrating. RiSky has to back away every time Corrosive Bars start to drop. And Snute is spamming them, half his Ravager Bars, then the other half. And that really kind of stops RiSky from ever truly fighting. Because every 3 seconds, he basically has to back away and move away from those bars once more. RiSky coming forwards now, though. He will start to chase those roaches away. There's no reinforcements coming in from Snute, but the Corrosive Bars just were huge, and that's why you always have to be backing away from them, committing forward, though Snute will find himself losing the Ravager count. But again, the reinforcements, the fewer roaches on the way over should be able to hold this out. In the end, RiSky cleans up. He's only 14 workers behind. Does he drone? Does he make units? He makes units, and it looks as though he's just going to go for it, but at the same time, again, Snute has bottom left-hand side, so while RiSky mines out of the main base, again, his drones just don't have anywhere to go mining from anymore. You can see him starting to long distance in the center of the map. It's the best option he really has, and that's the issue. RiSky's economy is just not quite there. Not quite. Alright, well, we're going to be seeing Snute coming forwards once more. A couple more Corrosive Bars going to land. gets a roach kill, gets another low, and I think now you can see the numbers are definitely in Snoot's favor. RiSky realizes it's over, he dances his roaches a little bit. GG, well played, but one hell of a game number 2. And Snute and RiSky go toe-to-toe for a very long time. In the end, found to determine who will move through to the finals and who will be our first player qualified for the WardiTV. Are you ready for summer tournament? Can you tell I was just really lost for a name? I really didn't know what to name this tournament. I had no idea. Anyways, the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Team Liquid. This, my friends, is Snute. And to the upper right-hand side, the purple Zerg player is RiSky. Alright, so our third game of this, and we see who's going to take it in the near future, of course. This will be the decider. And RiSky and Snute. Wow, I mean, what a way this would go. If RiSky was to qualify over Snute, would be like a boom, mind-blown sort of moment. What's up, ZvZ in the chat? Hello, how you doing? Hello, everyone else in the chat as well. Hope you're all having a great day so far. After this, we just have our finals. Namshar and Yishi already in game. I let them start playing because I felt bad for Yishi playing at like 6 AM or something in China. It's 4 AM, I guess, but I let them get started and get underway in their semi-finals. So, with that said, we are going to continue on here and see what happens in this ZvZ. Just the qualifier day, a bit of a lineup for the rest of the week in terms of content coming from us. We're going to be casting on... tomorrow we're going to be casting the WardiTV Invitational number 4 Group B. That's going to take place with MMA, Stats, Yishi as well, and also Impact. So it's a pretty cool group tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We come into casting tomorrow evening. I'm going to be back on WardiTV with Rifkin, casting the first qualifier for the BTSL Europe. Then on Thursday, we're going to be live with Kung Fu Cup action and hopefully the second qualifier of this event. I've just got to confirm some plans for that. Friday, we go live with Group C of the WardiTV Invitational number 4, as well as in the evening, the Group A of this tournament right here, the WardiTV EU Summer. Saturday is generally our day off at the moment because of other events going on, and on Sunday we have Go for SE2 action before a brand new week begins. A brand new week which is just going to be a couple days of action from WardiTV Invitational and the WardiTV Summer, while in the meantime we also have the Home Story Cup starting up on Thursday, so I'll be traveling there on the Wednesday. What's up, ZvZ? Thank you so much for the free month resub. Thank you so much for continuing to resubscribe and support the channel. Appreciate it. Get some love in the chat, please, for ZvZ, as we do see this lead just about halfway done at the moment. And we are going to be seeing the Roach Roaring on the way up at the front as well. Bane Nest on the way up here from Snute again, that ready to go. The +1 missile attack upgrade on the Evo chamber from him already, and the same from RiSky. They're pretty much kind of following each other's footsteps in some ways. Snute just doesn't have the lair, but he does commit to the Bane Nest. Not really sure he's going to do much with that. It does mean he'll get a bit of a faster third hatchery here. It's just because he went for the Ling speed. He's set up to go Ling Bane. He gets the third hatch, but his lair will be later. But on the plus side, he will still have the +1 missile. So in terms of most upgrades and the important ones, he's not too far behind. It's the lack of roach speed that will hurt him more so than anything else. So you do see the extra extractor just finishing up on this natural here. Bam! Da-da-da. StarCraft music, man. Feels good as the hatchery comes down on the third base, and we are going to be seeing another couple of Zerglings. Going to just run on over and have a look to see what's going on over here as they run on in and they start to nibble their way through that hatchery. So some damage starts to be done, and meanwhile we do see a lair from Snute currently just on the way up, and the Zerglings of Snute still just nibbling away wherever possible on that hatch. Lings end up backing off here in the end though, and as the Lings back off, we will see the Spire from RiSky starting up behind the mineral line. So Spire starting on out, a few roaches coming over as well, a couple of Lings taking some more damage. And we do see the couple of roaches of RiSky just able to really stabilize on this base here. He's actually going into a very fast Spire, so RiSky going to play into Mutalisks pretty quickly off the get-go. Not going to mess around or anything along those lines. Right from the start, as we do see the roach speed finishes. His own +1 about to finish up too. With the lair ready, of course, he goes straight into +2. Same for Snute, because his own lair is now up and he's getting his own roach speed. So continuing to go into this at the moment now. Spire will finish shortly, as we do see those few Zerglings of Snute still just wandering around, looking to see just what they can get up to as well. The answer is not a lot again, because those roaches are still part of the wall off. And at this stage of the game, RiSky is going to try and limit the number of roaches he makes, because he wants to save the gas for the Mutalisks. As the Spire finishes right now, he has about +2. He has about plus enough for 6 Mutalisks. He cancels his +2 upgrade. He started out at the front so that the Lings, as they scout it, they're like, oh, an upgrade, cool, you're going into more roaches. It's really selling the idea that RiSky's committing to roaches. Now, it does mean he's behind on the +2 when it comes to roach fights in the future, but obviously the idea of having the Mutalisks in the sky is hoping to offset that, as scouting the third base, no gases here. Now, RiSky will take these 7 meters to start things off, and well, we'll see what he does with these first 7 meters. I imagine, you know, Overlords are nice to kill, and there is a lot of them on the map. But I think it's a lot better to just go straight across here, maybe find where those roaches are, maybe start dealing damage before the Spore Crawler's up, shut down a queen or two, and then come back and kill the Overlords as they're generally being retracted back home. Maybe miss out an Overlord or two, but I think in general it's the most efficient way. Okay, he leaves a couple of meters onto this Overlord. He's going to go for this one as well, so he is just going to go for damage where he can. He's going to pick these off as he comes across the map. He's actually splitting his meters to pick them off just kind of one at a time. It's a lot of Overlords, actually, to be fair. I mean, already a couple going down. He's going to leave this one because he sees the roaches coming across, and he knows right now he doesn't have the roach numbers to take a fight, so he has to get these meters on the roaches ASAP. And by getting these meters on the roaches ASAP, he'll start to pick away, he'll start to lower the numbers, and make it a real, you know, a winnable fight for him when he has his own roaches here too. Might have to cancel that 4th base though, as RiSky right now still doesn't have the roach numbers just yet. Roaches are going to start potentially moving through in towards the natural. That's where things could get complicated for RiSky, as he is just trying to block that off there. Another couple of units coming up. He needs to try and minimize workers a lot. He does kill 6 workers across the map because he actually has his own roach counterattack underway. He's going to kill multiple queens, which is obviously going to be amazing if he does get back across the map with the Mutalisks here eventually. RiSky's going to run out on the 3rd base. He's lost 12 drones so far, but still up by 10 workers. And these mutants are going to finish cleaning up these roaches. Snute already has a Hydra's Den down though, somewhat prepared for this. He's actually going to get into Hydras pretty quickly. Well, RiSky's still up 10 workers or so. I think very impressive considering the circumstances. Still losing some mining time though. Definitely makes that a bit awkward. It's a bit up and down there, but in general, RiSky's going to come out of this in a pretty decent spot. His own +2 missiles still coming along. Meters are now going to be working their way across the map, and you know, there's still an Overlord here or there he could pick off. Killing off a few of those queens with those roaches on the other side though is really nice, because obviously it reduces the kind of mobile, kind of anti-air that's available. RiSky is, for the most part, just focusing on drones and roaches at the moment here, and as +2 finishes, RiSky actually has a pretty good kind of setup, I feel. Let's see what happens. I mean, the issue is, as he continues to make roaches, Snute is making Hydras to deal with the Mutalisks, right? And if you're trying to make roaches, Hydras to deal with meters, your actual standing army on the ground is not amazing, because the Hydras themselves, while they're good once you get up there, as you're initially making them, it does hurt your roach count, and it does kind of affect you in the sense that they're not quite going to get enough done initially. Anyways, RiSky goes into a Balin nest, so it looks as though he's going to go straight towards Balins to help continue dealing with this. Meanwhile, Snute will throw down the Lurker Den, so he's going to go in towards the Lurkers to transition here. Roaches coming around the top side again, as we are going to be seeing the extra roaches continue to come up meters, getting themselves a kill or two. I think there's maybe just even a creep tumor there more than anything else, which is fine. I mean, anything to slow Snute down. Lurker Den is maybe still the scariest thing about this at the moment. Unless he can clean up the Hydras in a fight, then, you know, obviously the Lurkers can be targeted down by Mutalisks. He is just using his meters to the left-hand side, again, denying creep spread. It's a great thing to do. You kill off creep spread, you slow Snute from being able to be on the map with a lot of Hydras. It slows the Lurker attacks down. Snute's 4th base going to get killed here, no cancel. Again, good play by RiSky as he finds himself in position on an extractor, which will splash onto a couple of drones. Once again, it's a nice couple of kills, forces the Spore Crawler to relocate. Let's just be a little bit cautious of those Hydras in their position in here, as those roaches back around the right side. And they actually might just go for a kill here once more. Snute is not in position, and RiSky runs on in, again, denying that 4th base. RiSky's already up still in a, in the work account. His economy's still looking good. You can see his army supply starting to rise up massively because of that as well. If RiSky attacks in now, pre-Lurkers, this could go very well for him. Let's see what he does. He's waiting for Bane speed. He's waiting for Banelings though, which means the Lurkers will probably be able to come onto the map. And that could change things here. As there we go. 4 Lurkers on the way up. It means there's really not much anti-air though. Roaches back away. He really wants these Lings and Banes. Bane speed will be ready in a moment. He's even going to have +1 melee shortly. Oh my god, the Lings don't actually have Ling speed, so he can't actually bring the Lings across the map very easily. Cancels the 4th base, getting this extractor here to this side. Once again, another nice little pick-off. I mean, he's going to get a couple of drones too while the Spore Crawler relocates. I mean, the more extractors and gases he denies in general, the better. Still gets out of there. Mutilus can. How many have been lost this game? Not a single one. RiSky playing this amazingly so far in that regard. And there's all those Balins we've been talking about. So there, he comes down to these Lurkers. Again, there isn't much anti-air, so really if these Mutilus can kind of deal with the Lurkers once the anti-air is taken out, the question is it possible to take out the anti-air? Wouldn't say the Lurkers are in crazy numbers just yet either. Only 4 of them. It's definitely manageable. That's RiSky. He needs to be cautious with where he goes. He does have one Overseer, another couple of Banes morphing in. He's maxed out. Waiting doesn't help RiSky here. It only helps Snute, who, as he maxes out, is going to have a great time. RiSky sees the Lurkers, and he's going to be upset with that. Because obviously that doesn't bode well for him at all. Starts his own infestation pit and Hydro's den, and RiSky, he has a massive lead. Just can't quite find a way to end it because of those Lurkers really just blocking his path. Although he could deny the 4th base again. The 4th base could be an attack pathway in, which really could work out for him. He gets it once more, so he just knows he has to cancel here. RiSky backs away, has money in the bank, and again, Snute. He's starting to mine out of that main, so not having a 4th really starts to become a problem. This time the Lurkers aren't quite burrowed in time, and so the initial Lurkers, they'll go down. Banes are still chasing in. There's another Lurker here at the front which goes down too. RiSky remakes purely Roaches at the moment, realizing there isn't really any Hydras here, and realizing that he himself might just have to go into anti-lurker play mode. And that's what the infestation pit was for, to get the hive up. And as the hive comes up, we see the Vipers available to be made. And as the Vipers are available to be made, you can already start abducting those lurkers in and shutting those down. Mutilus come forward and they're going to find themselves a Spore Crawler for the picking. I mean, Vipers are really the big thing here, and if you can get the Vipers up, that would be amazing for him. He's going to spread out some Banes, but there's not really much he can do. He cancels or kills another couple of Spores. He wants to try and deny this 4th base again, but it's not going to happen. Instead, he just starts to take his own 5th base, staying 1 base up on Snute at all times at the moment. But with Adaptive Talons coming through, those Lurkers are going to become more and more of an issue. As Hydra's coming across. RiSky doesn't have Hydra speed or anything at the moment. What's he actually looking to do? He's waiting for Groove Spines at the moment. That's I couldn't see that in the production tab. So it just melds into the production tab. Well, again, Hive coming up. With the Vipers, you can throw down Blinding Clouds. You can take Lurkers out of the fight. You can abduct them forwards, and it starts to allow you to trade very well as RiSky. RiSky, the player who has the resources to really come in here and to, trade and rebuild, compared to Snute. And just 1 Lurker in position there, but for now it will be enough. Roaches and Hive just continue to gather together. Did Wardy say the Banes don't have Ling speed? I said the Lings don't have Ling speed, but the Banes are getting Bane speed. So the Lings couldn't reinforce very quickly, whereas the Banes were going to reinforce a lot faster because they did have speed. But it's just kind of funny that the Lings didn't have speed, because it means that while you want the Lings to get across the map, morph in Banes and boom attack, he actually couldn't run across the map very quickly at all, so it was worth it for him to just morph in the Banes super quickly. Well, we've seen a couple of Vipers on the way up. He loses the Queen here at the front, Snooze. 14 minutes in game 3, sorry, the decider right now. He's starting to take some action. Obviously the Vipers coming in, they're going to be absolutely critical, because with the Vipers, they're going to be the way that RiSky can really fight against a lot of what's going on here. Going to see some rushes in the front going down. I think the biggest shame for RiSky is he just sort of assumed there's going to be a lot of Hydras. He didn't really think about the Lurkers, so he never really, he spent so much money kind of getting set to deal with Hydras and, +1 melee, Bane speed, and none of that ever came through. He's dealing with these Lurkers really well so far, though I have to say, he's never fighting in Lurker range. He's always fighting outside of the Lurkers. He's always taking these, very good little skirmishes, and even picked off a Lurker or 2 so far as well. This isn't pretty. He needs to be careful. He's got 23 more Hydras on the way. Vipers are starting to show up right now. Some Lurkers left behind here by Snute. I'm sure they'll get brought forward shortly. As you will see, these Vipers are going to want to look for a couple of abducts to try and make this fight work out. All the Blind Cloud depending on the position of the Lurkers, if they're clumped up or not. Here you go, RiSky's going to go for it. He does have the Vipers to throw down the Blinding Clouds, and so the Lurkers are absolutely doing nothing at the moment. And there's an abduct as well to grab one as they try and make their exit. RiSky's pushing forward with the Hydras. The Lurkers are burrowed once again, though, so he has to be super careful. RiSky ends up having to back away. And he will get his Vipers to consume once more, get their energy back up. But Snute now is maxing out, and RiSky just doesn't quite have the bank to max out with. Snute's going to start getting his own 5th base set up down to the south side here once again. And again, another couple of Lurkers just coming through as those Vipers getting their energy up, getting ready for the next fight. RiSky with his own Lurkers coming in now. He has the final missile attack upgrade coming in at pretty much the same time as Snute. The Adaptive Talons obviously going to be important for him as well, so his own Lurkers are just as mobile as his opponents. RiSky just missing some money right now to really morph these Hydras into the Lurkers and to really make something out of these. He's got 40 Hydras on the map at the moment. It's a lot of damage output, but it's a very flimsy army. If Snute was to make that many Hydras, RiSky would just go into a bunch of Banes and they would absolutely destroy them. Obviously, Snute doesn't have that option. He has the Baneling Nest, but still to commit into the Bane speed and to actually make that effective, it's probably not worth it, especially when you're expecting more Lurkers to come on out here. I think Lurkers in general just shut that down. As you do see some burrowed roaches over here, and that's something Snute is not really ready to deal with over on that left-hand side. He is going to start pushing in towards the right, though, Snute. At the same time, RiSky uses a spine crawler here, so drones are denied from mining. RiSky's income is halted for the moment. That tunneling claws burrow play becoming effective right away now, as you see Blinding Cloud really good here for RiSky. Really will make this fight a very wonderful one for him. Initially, the Lurkers that are here as well get taken down. RiSky is going to deal with those roaches. He will be able to get back to mining. These guys are still scrapping it out right now as RiSky. He should be able to fight this. There isn't any units really here from Snute. A couple of Lurkers are going to go down pretty quick. There's one Lurker left, the Overseer. There's one left over. It will get the kill. And the Lurkers are cleaned out. RiSky lost 7 drones. The worker count is 56 to 59. Snute's big difference is that he has gas in the bank, and he already started another hatchery. Let's see if what RiSky's plan is right now. As he starts to move across the map, 4 more Vipers on the way. Snute's still reluctant. Okay, he does actually have Vipers of his own. We just haven't seen them yet. I imagine they'll come into play here very shortly in the next fight. As, oop, well, that's a nice catch. Finds these Lurkers morphing in. That slows down Snute's Lurkers from being ready. Well, he does still have a few spread out around the place, although mostly just kind of 1 or 2 here and there defensively. 1 or 2 Lurkers don't quite do that kind of critical massive AoE damage, which really makes them scary. As you see the Hydras, the Lurkers, they are going to keep on moving down to the south side right now. Roaches and Hydras, you're going to have to be a little bit cautious. The Lurker from RiSky runs into that army. You definitely don't want that to happen. Small mistake there. Another couple of Vipers on the way. He's going into a lot of Vipers here. And RiSky, nice split of the army. Will find himself a hatchery here. He needs to be careful with where these Hydras are going, though. Doesn't want to run it into the main army. Killing that hatchery is always going to be a big benefit, and that's always nice. Keeps the bases even here rather than giving Snute the advantage. He's actually rotating back around RiSky to be able to deal with this army here at the moment. Snute's Vipers are now somewhere. There they are, joined in with the Lurkers at the back. More Vipers still just coming through here as well. And RiSky going to come up to the top side as both players are maxed out. Both players have money in the bank to spend. RiSky a little bit less than Snute, 5 workers less, and had to deal with a little bit of a run by here and there as well. I'm not even sure what exactly that was that just died off. I think it was just a forward roach from Snute. There's a couple of roaches here also go down. He tries to snipe a Viper. One goes low, doesn't go down. And RiSky just cancels that base. For a moment it felt like he could maybe run up here and grab that army, but he's so afraid of where the Lurkers may potentially be positioned. He just has to be so careful about it. Seeing RiSky's army back around to the right side, or actually moving through the center now. Looks as though he's going to keep moving over to the right. He starts to take the bottom right base as Snute begins to re-expand down on the south side as well. Their final bases here in this game, more or less, apart from these two now, are really starting to get very close to each other as Vipers cannot afford to just run into the army. A few ducks there, and that's a small micro mistake from RiSky, which costs him big time. Small moment or two, not quite paying attention, and boom, all of a sudden, costing a lot of units as the Lurkers again. Suddenly RiSky making a couple of mistakes here and there right now. That's a nice abduct though. Those Vipers off Snute, not able to take advantage of that. Maybe a parasitic bomb could be kind of nice. Just hit it onto a Viper, force them to split around, maybe distract RiSky from really paying attention to the more important parts of the fight for a moment. Snute gets another couple of return Lurker shots there, and Lurker abduct, sorry. Again, good stuff so far. Income is still kind of back and forth. It's been a bit more Snute favored for a while, and that's why his bank's looking a little bit healthier now. Army sizes have been a little bit back and forth as well. RiSky's maxed out once more though. And he has this bottom right base setting up, and we look as though we're going to probably have a standoff here in the very near future. Because, I mean, if RiSky sets up here and Snute sets up there, why would they ever push into each other? And then maybe these bases become more important, but this base is fresher for RiSky, so is that more, there's more need for RiSky to kind of defend that base rather than Snute having to defend this base, which only has 900 gas and a few minerals left on it. RiSky has 2,000, 3,000 plus gas left here, and all 8 mineral patches still to mine from. RiSky does not want to lose this base, but Snute losing this base to the left side is a little bit more, I'm not going to say it's, it's not never good to lose a base, but it's less detrimental to his play than if RiSky lost this one right now. RiSky is moving forward with the Vipers, maybe seeing what's up. He has got some Hydras to the left side. I'd love to just see one Viper with these Hydras, just in case he does run into like these couple of lurkers here. It's a very simple answer to the couple of lurkers. You know, you have one full energy Viper, abduct, and boom, there's nothing in position to defend this base. RiSky will just go up top left though, and he will be able to take this down. Relying on the fact that his defensive position here will be enough to stop Snute from taking advantage of a push forwards. Lurkers and RiSky need a burrow right now. A couple of Blinding Clouds already coming into position. Blinding Clouds are now actually going to work in RiSky's favor. Yep, Doug's forward some Vipers, gets some kills. His Lurkers in the back are affected by a massive Blinding Cloud, which is hitting a lot of Lurkers. Now Snute's behind us in this. Oh my god, what is going on? I actually have no real idea what's happening, but it looks like Snute's breaking through. RiSky just has too many Hydras in the top left-hand side. They're on their way back down. 31 Hydras in production from RiSky. His bank is being completely drained at the moment. Blinding Cloud on those Lurkers, going to duck them in towards a few Hydras on the south side, so they're still making use of themselves. As RiSky is running to try and get those Hydras back here, the Vipers have to be saved as well, but he's going to run into Spore Crawlers, and RiSky's going to start losing the Vipers. He's been pushed into a hard position, and now he's struggling to make himself, redeem himself from that position he put himself into by denying that top left base. Oh, loses another couple of Vipers. All of them are going to go down as they're cornered on the south side. Snute's played a beautifully slow game here to be able to find himself the slow little advantages which he needed. And RiSky was very, very far ahead at one point in this game, I think, but in the end.